Hello and welcome to Access Asia here on France 24. I'm Will Hildebrand. Coming up, Pakistan has more refugees than any country in the world, and the idea of extending citizenship to some has sparked a fiery debate. They're called the Kamalari, thousands of young girls illegally sold into slavery in Nepal. We'll look at how activists are fighting the centuries-old practice. And the world's biggest religious festival becomes more inclusive. For the first time ever, India's Kumbh Mela welcomes transgenders. Well, Pakistan's Prime Minister has reiterated his support to grant citizenship to Afghan refugees born in the country, igniting a national debate on the controversial issue. At nearly 2.5 million, no country in the world hosts more refugees than Pakistan. Brian Quinn has more.
In this bazaar in the northwestern Pakistani city of Peshawar, Shahzad Alam has built his business selling shoes. But building a family life is more complicated.
Whenever a girl asks me to send a marriage proposal, her parents will refuse straight away the moment we introduce ourselves as Afghan refugees.
Despite being born here, Alam is one of the estimated 2.4 million Afghan refugees living in Pakistan, unable to obtain passports, facing frequently delayed deadlines to leave the country. While some live in camps, many have settled in Pakistan's cities. Even those that weren't born here often have a long history. Afghans have been coming since the Soviet invasion of their home country in 1979.
I have spent 3 decades here in Pakistan and just 1 decade in Afghanistan. I have everything I need here. I'm happy and I want to live in Pakistan.
According to the Pakistani constitution, anyone born there after 1951 can claim citizenship, but anti-refugee sentiment runs strong. Many native Pakistanis suspect the Afghan population of spreading militancy and criminality in their adoptive country. Of the 1.4 million registered Afghan refugees, the UN says 3/4 of them were born in Pakistan. In September, new Prime Minister Imran Khan pledged to grant them citizenship. It was a remarkable turnabout from decades of official policy pushing repatriation. The Prime Minister's announcement sparked swift and widespread domestic backlash.
I think that the government's decision is not good. This citizenship issue is not important because Pakistan already has many problems. Pakistan should solve the problems of poor people as a first priority.
Faced with resistance from politicians and Pakistan's powerful military, Khan has yet to take his plan to parliament. But he has kindled new hope among refugees that the country that has taken them in could become their permanent home.
In Nepal, they're known as Kamalari, thousands of young girls sold into slavery by their families. While the centuries-old practice is illegal today, it remains widespread. Ellen Gainsford reports.
In this rural region in the southwest of Nepal, 70% of the population gets by on less than €2 a day. In the villages, the houses are built from mud and straw. Today, Danvi, not her real name, is a happy teenager, but she was sold into slavery when she was only 7 years old. Her father sent her to work for a wealthy family in the region.
I didn't go to school. I had to work for them all the time and look after their children. I was like a bird in a cage, hit with a stick for every mistake. He shouted at me if I didn't work hard. He forced me to get up very early in the morning.
She became what's known in Nepal as a Kamalari, a young female slave. Her father says he didn't have a choice, as he didn't have enough money to feed her.
I sent her there because I thought they would take care of her education. At the time, I couldn't buy her pencils or paper. I was very sad to send her there as a slave, but I didn't have a choice.
Danvi remained a slave for 8 years before finally being rescued. This type of slavery has existed in Nepal for centuries. To pay a debt, families sell the services of their daughters. The practice was made illegal in 2006, but little has changed. More than 8,000 girls are still enslaved today. This center provides shelter to around 100 former slaves, freed by a Nepalese NGO. Sunita was once one of them. Today, the 28-year-old works for the NGO that rescued her. Her mission is to go and save each Kamalari, one by one, from the families that are holding them. Thanks to information gathered from neighbors and the help of the police, the NGO is able to conduct rescue operations.
Their masters torture them, and some even sexually abuse them. But despite this, it can be very difficult to free the girls. As their owners are powerful members of society, they are often protected by the government, and in those cases, we can't do anything.
When finally freed, the Kamalari slaves are often discriminated against because of their past. After they're rescued, the girls need to be reintegrated into society. This involves training them in a profession so they're able to support themselves, like this cooking class.
When I was a Kamalari slave, I didn't see myself as having a future. But now, after this training, I'm sure I can leave my past behind and do what I like.
By educating the girls and offering them training, the NGO hopes to help end society's stigma towards them and give them a second chance in life.
Hong Kong has the highest rents in the world, by many calculations nearly 50% more expensive than London and Paris. That has forced some people to spend nights in unusual places like fast food restaurants, earning the nickname McRefugees.
It's the middle of the night in Hong Kong, in one of the city's 110 24-hour McDonald's restaurants. The place looks more like a dormitory than a fast food outlet. Here they're known as the McRefugees. In this restaurant alone, about 30 people have come to spend the night. It's estimated that 300 people do the same across the city. McDonald's staff and management are usually accommodating to those who stay in their restaurants overnight. Pakwa has worked here for 6 years. She says she's seen a steady increase in the number of people coming to her restaurant to sleep. Many people have other places to sleep, but they come here because they live too far from work or because public transport is too expensive. For them, fast food chains are a place of refuge, a shelter to escape the grim reality of life. Mei Yin comes here with her mum Ding Xie every single day. Like most other McRefugees, Ding Xie is not homeless. She has a job and rents her own apartment. She pays 510 euros a month, but it's only 7 square meters and has no windows. The toilet doubles up as a shower. She says it feels more like a closet. Hong Kong is one of the most expensive cities to live in.
We need the government to do more. There is almost 500,000 people waiting for public housing. They need to wait for 20 years, 30 years. So that's why so many people, they are single people, they are living in cage home or they are sleeping in a McDonald's.
It's estimated that 1 in 5 Hong Kongers live below the poverty line. Income inequality in the city, meanwhile, has reached its highest level in 40 years.
India's Kumbh Mela is the world's largest religious festival. Officials estimate up to 150 million people attend the 8-week Hindu celebration. This year's event noteworthy for another reason. It was the first time the country's transgender community was allowed to participate as a group. Peter O'Brien has a story.
A constant stream of pilgrims to see an unusual leader. Lakshmi Narayan Tripathi is a transgender rights activist, former reality TV contestant, and now a star of Kumbh Mela, the world's biggest religious festival.
If she wasn't here in India and if she hadn't come out as transgender, then we probably wouldn't have anything today. She is even more important than God for transgender people.
On the first day of the festival, she and her congregation took part in the main event, the royal bath, which devout Hindus believe brings salvation from the cycle of life and death. It's the culmination of a campaign to reclaim a lost place in Hinduism for the transgender people in India known as Hijras. They feature in ancient Hindu texts and were worshipped for thousands of years, but were persecuted during British colonial rule and remain marginalized, even though they have official recognition as a third gender.
Every second was so important for me and of my existence after century down the line. We children of the same Sanatan Dharma were placed back with dignity to the space which we belonged.
As a public figure, Lakshmi is not without her critics. She controversially supports the building of a Hindu temple on the site of a former mosque in the northeast of the country, which Hindus traditionally regard to be the birthplace of a deity. The debate is expected to be a major issue in the country's upcoming general election. In November, hundreds of transgender people and rights groups signed a letter accusing Lakshmi of fueling hateful right-wing politics.
That's it for this edition. Thanks for watching, and please stay tuned to France 24.
Keep up to date on the latest from the Middle East. We bring you political, economic, and cultural events from the region in this weekly Middle Eastern program.
Middle East Matters, presented by Sanam Chantier on France 24 and France24.com.
When it comes to romance, the French have the reputation of being passionate, first-rate lovers.
Well, Jeannie, we have a lot going for us. French is the language of love. Paris is the city of love.
But what's it really like to go out with a French person? What about French dating rules? Or what about French attitudes to marriage, divorce, and infidelity?
Join us for the next episode of French Connections Plus, where we give you the ins and outs of the game of love à la française.
French Connection Plus, presented by Jeannie Godula and Florence Villemino.